Hi, welcome to another episode of Fun with Phil and his friends. Today we're going to talk about a trip I took a couple of weeks ago up on the Salmon River. We were invited by the McGregor Company, one of our vendors at Kimberly Seeds. They supply us with seed treatment and seed treatment equipment. Mike Erickson is their representative who calls on us, takes great care of us. He's a great salesman, and McGregor's a great company to deal with. They were nice enough to invite us on this trip, a place where I've always wanted to go. The trip is up on the other end, on the western end of the Salmon River. Starts at Riggins, and then we drove up about 45 minutes to a put-in called Vinegar Creek, where we loaded on some boats with the people who own Mackey's bar, which is about 45 minutes upstream from where we put in. And Buck Dewey is the owner of Mackey's bar. He's the boat operator and a great character and a lot of fun to hang out with for a couple of days. You'll see pictures of him in here in a minute. And we were after steelhead. Now, steelhead is a rainbow trout. That's a seagoing fish. They are born in the upper regions of the Salmon River up by Stanley, and the smolts go back downstream in the spring and go out into the ocean and spend 4 or 5 years, and then start their journey almost 900 miles back upstream through the canyons and the tributaries, and end up back up in the central Idaho mountains by Stanley, Idaho, where they spawn, and the cycle starts all over again. They're a great fish to catch. They get large. 30 inches is not uncommon. On this trip, we caught a couple bigger than that, and we'll see some video and some pictures of that. This particular year, fishing numbers were down. In this area, they calculate the how good the fishing is by how many man hours it takes to catch a fish. And this year, I've heard numbers that range anywhere from 60 hours to 100 hours per fish. So that's not great fishing. But we were lucky. We found a couple of spots, one in particular, where we were able to catch some fish, and we all had a great time. There were 8 of us in the group, and again, we were invited by the McGregor Company, and many thanks to them for sponsoring the trip. Buck and his wife, Joni, are great hosts. They have a beautiful spot, and they fed us like kings. It was a great opportunity to hang out with them and to get to know the area a little better. A few years ago, Melinda, my wife, and I took an 8-day float trip from the salmon area down to Riggins. So we had I had a great opportunity to see some of those sites again. And so welcome again to another episode of Fun with Phil and his friends. And this is Steelhead Fishing. Hope you enjoy. As you can see from the map, the Salmon River runs from central Idaho out to the west towards the Pacific, jumping into the Snake. Here you can see the 8 of us at Mackey's bar. There's Paul, Mike, Nate, Jeremy, Jerry, Mike, and myself. Here we are in the boat, riding with Buck. He's in the operator's chair there in the middle. He's just picked us up at Vinegar Creek. And Mike asked him to take us downstream through one of the bigger rapids on the river called Vinegar Creek. A couple of years ago when we floated this with Melinda and myself, we almost lost one of the people on our raft right off the front of the raft because this rapid was so big and deep when we hit it. You can see here Buck's turned this big boat around. Has 2 6.2 liter Chevy engines in it, tons of horsepower, lots of fun to ride in, and he heads back up. You really can't tell from this video very well, but as you see the bounces and the bumps, these are big holes that he's hitting as we're going upstream. The 2 Hamilton jet pumps are workhorses, and this boat has tons of power and the ability to navigate these large rapids. It's about a 45-minute drive upstream until we hit this beautiful spot. It's, as you can see, that's Mackey's bar, and some of the most beautiful country you'll ever see. There's some images that I won't ever forget as we look down the canyon and over the ridges and towards the sky. It's just a beautiful place. This is a picture from the lodge looking back down the Salmon River. What a beautiful area. It's so serene and so pretty. And we had the great opportunity to spend some time fishing and just enjoying our time here. As you can see in this next picture, we're looking down the boat. The boats are about, I would say 28 or 29 feet long total if you went tip to end. Right here, there's Buck. Buck's quite a character. I tried to voice over most of the stuff so that my grandkids could watch and listen to the videos. Something might slip through, so hopefully you don't mind that. But here we are out trying to catch this fish. And I believe this is Mike Erickson catching this one. Yep, this one's Mike. Pulls in this nice fish to get the party started. Although we caught a couple of smaller ones before this. This is one of the nicer, larger fish that we caught. Then again, we caught some others. Here's Buck again, man in the net. We were in this same hole. It's called Martha's Hole. We actually ended up taking a total of about 11 fish out of this particular spot. We had a great time spending our time here. Buck is waiting for that fish to get tired out and get closer to the boat. Most of the fights last somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 minutes. And as you can see, they're nice fish. All of the ones we caught except for one were natives. Awesome. Which means they were not hatchery fish. There's Nate with the fish he caught. This is the largest fish we caught. This was caught by Paul. It was about 36 inches. All of these had to be returned back into the river. Here's a picture of some bighorn sheep that we saw. They let us get close. They weren't afraid of us at all. Here's a little bit of the otters that we saw along the edge of the river. They were just playing and oblivious to us as we drifted by them. It was a great trip, and we had a great time, and we were certainly sad to return back home and back to civilization. But it was a great time, and I earned some new friends. Paul, Mike, Nate, Jeremy, Jerry, Mike, and myself, we had a great time. Thanks, Buck and Joni,
As an
for a wonderful
epilogue to
trip.
this episode of Fun with Phil and his friends, I had a little bit of a mishap on this trip. I had taken my phone with me to take the images and take the videos that I'd planned to use for this episode. And as we were fishing one day, we were drifting downstream, and I had my line in the water holding my rod. And we were drifting by one of the campsites Melinda and I had stayed at. And I pulled out my phone to take a video of that section of the river to show Melinda that this is where we had camped one night. And just as I was saying that into the camera, a fish hit my line, and as I jerked to set the hook, I reached up over my head with both hands, and my phone went flying over my shoulder, hit the swim platform and into the water. I could see the screen was still on as it faded in and fluttered down into the water and finally went dark. So all of the videos and the photos in this episode were sent to me by all of those guys in the picture. We uploaded them to Dropbox, and they sent them to me so that I could use them and put this episode together. So thanks to them for all of their efforts to get me their videos and their photos. And now I have a new phone, thanks to my trip on the Salmon River. Thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the next episode of Fun with Phil and his friends.